Every morning, millions of parents around the world sit down with flashcards, alphabet charts, and counting games. They're convinced that the earlier their child masters letters and numbers, the better prepared they'll be for life. But what if everything we've been told about early learning is backwards? What if the children who spend their first 5 years memorizing the alphabet aren't actually ahead at all? Neuroscience has revealed something that changes everything. Before age 5, your child's brain isn't optimized for abstract symbols like letters and numbers. It's wired for something completely different. Something that will determine their capacity to learn anything, including reading and math, for the rest of their lives. The illusion of early mastery. Picture this. Your 3-year-old can recite the alphabet perfectly. Your neighbor's 4-year-old can count to 50. Another child down the street is already reading simple words. As a parent, it's hard not to feel the pressure. If everyone else's child is achieving these milestones early, shouldn't yours be too? But here's what researchers have discovered. Early academic skills are not predictive of later success. A landmark study published in the journal Early Childhood Research Quarterly followed thousands of children from preschool through elementary school. The findings were striking. By 2nd grade, there was no measurable difference in reading or math ability between children who learned their ABCs at age 3 versus age 5. Dr. Hirschbazek, a professor of psychology at Temple University and senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, has spent decades researching early learning. Her conclusion is clear. Teaching academic content too early doesn't create an advantage. In fact, it can backfire. When young children are pushed to perform tasks their brains aren't ready for, they often develop anxiety around learning, a fixed mindset about their abilities, and a belief that learning is supposed to feel hard and joyless. What the brain is actually doing before age 5. So if young children aren't meant to be learning letters and numbers, what are they supposed to be doing? The answer lies in understanding how the brain actually develops. During the first 5 years of life, a child's brain is undergoing the most rapid and important development it will ever experience. But that development isn't happening in the areas responsible for reading, writing, or arithmetic. It's happening in the foundational systems that make all future learning possible. Dr. Jacques Shonkoff, Director Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University, describes it this way. The architecture of the brain is built from the bottom up. The foundation must be strong before you can build anything on top of it. And that foundation isn't made of facts or skills. It's made of 3 critical capacities: emotional regulation, executive function, and secure attachment. Emotional regulation is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage feelings. Executive function includes skills like focus, impulse control, working memory, and flexible thinking. Secure attachment is the deep sense of safety and trust a child develops through consistent, responsive relationships. These 3 capacities are more important than any academic skill because they are the tools your child will use to learn everything else. A child who can regulate their emotions will be able to sit still and focus in a classroom. A child with strong executive function will be able to follow instructions, solve problems, and persist through challenges. A child with secure attachment will take risks, ask questions, and believe in their ability to grow. how these capacities actually develop. The remarkable thing is that these foundational skills don't develop through flashcards or structured lessons. They develop through play, conversation, and connection. When your 2-year-old stacks blocks and tower falls, they're not just playing. They're learning impulse control, spatial reasoning, and frustration tolerance. When they knock it down on purpose and laugh, they're experimenting with cause and effect and emotional regulation. When your 3-year-old insists on pouring their own milk and it spills everywhere, that's not a mess. That's executive function in action. They're learning planning, motor control, and how to recover from mistakes. When your 4-year-old tells you an elaborate, made-up story about a dinosaur who went to the moon, they're not wasting time. They're building narrative skills, symbolic thinking, and language complexity. Those are the exact skills they'll need for reading comprehension later. Research from the Lego Foundation and the University of Cambridge shows that children who engage in rich, unstructured play develop significantly stronger executive function and creative problem-solving skills than children who spend equivalent time in academic instruction. The 5 things that matter more than ABCs, so what should you actually be focusing on before age 5? Here are the 5 experiences that build the foundation for everything else. First, free play. Not structured activities or educational games. Real play where your child decides what to do, how to do it, and when to stop. Block building, pretend play, digging in the dirt, making up games. This is where executive function develops. Second, back and forth conversation. Not teaching vocabulary or asking quiz questions. Real conversation where you listen, respond, and follow their lead. When your child points at a bird and you say, "Yes, that's a blue jay. See how it's hopping." That simple exchange builds more language capacity than any flashcard. Third, allowing struggle. Not frustration that leads to tears, but manageable challenges that require effort. When they can't open the container, wait before helping. When they're building something tricky, resist the urge to fix it. Small struggles build persistence and confidence. Fourth, emotional coaching. When your child is upset, don't dismiss or minimize their feelings. Name them, validate them, and help them work through it. You're really angry that we have to leave the park. It's hard to stop when you're having fun. That's emotional regulation being built in real time. And fifth, physical movement. Running, jumping, climbing, dancing. Gross motor skills aren't separate from brain development. They're essential to it. Movement builds neural connections, improves focus, and helps children learn to control their bodies, which directly supports their ability to control their attention. Why this is so hard to believe, I know some of you are thinking, but what about kindergarten, readiness? What if my child is behind? Here's the truth. Kindergarten readiness isn't about knowing the alphabet. It's about being able to separate from a caregiver, follow simple instructions, take turns, and express needs. Those are social-emotional skills, not academic ones. A study from the University of Virginia found that children who entered kindergarten with strong social-emotional skills but weak academic skills outperformed their peers by 3rd grade. Meanwhile, children who entered with strong academic skills but weak social-emotional skills struggled increasingly over time. Why? because you can teach a child letters in a few weeks. You cannot teach emotional regulation, executive function, or secure attachment in a few weeks. Those capacities take years to develop, and they can only develop through relationships and experience. What this looks like in practice, here's what I want you to imagine. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Your 4-year-old is not sitting at a table with workbooks. They're outside, building a fort out of sticks and blankets. They're negotiating with a sibling about who gets to be the captain. They're problem-solving when the fort collapses. They're using their imagination to turn a cardboard box into a ship. That child is learning more in that 1 hour than they would in a week of alphabet drills. They're learning collaboration, spatial reasoning, resilience, creativity, and joy. Those skills will carry them through every challenge they face in school and beyond. Now imagine it's bedtime. You're reading a story together. Not to teach reading, just for the joy of it. Your child asks a question about the character. You pause and talk about it. You're building comprehension, curiosity, and connection all at once. That's what early learning is supposed to look like. Not performance, not pressure. Juste présence. The one thing your child actually needs, here's the core truth. Before age 5, your child doesn't need to know their ABCs. They need to know they are loved, they are safe, and the world is a place worth exploring. They need adults who are patient, present, and playful. They need time to be children. De let them tell weather. But the window for building emotional security, executive function, and a love of learning, that's right now. And it doesn't require any curriculum, any app, or any pressure. It just requires you paying attention, playing along, and trusting that your child's brain knows exactly what it needs to grow. So the next time you feel the urge to drill the alphabet, ask yourself this: what does my child's brain actually need right now? The answer, almost always, is connection. And that's something no flashcard can ever provide.